Hello, my name is HK Shin from Mail Business Newspaper, South Korea. I believe that there are similar books out there written by the former employees and the other pundits about the Netflix culture over the less than a decade. But why did you choose to bring up this topic culture at this specific time?
HK, we didn't choose to do it now. We really chose 3 years ago to do it, and then we just got unlucky with pandemic. My partner, my former head of HR, they've all written books too. This one is really about Netflix culture today, after we've gone global. It's more up to date. And what we tried to show in the book is that if you're in a creative business, as opposed to industrial manufacturing or safety critical, then a good way to operate is to try to inspire your employees instead of supervising them. And so if you're someone who likes to follow cooking recipes very precisely, you probably would not love Netflix as an employee. If you're someone who likes to start with the recipes and then, verge out on your own and try things, then you would tend to love working at Netflix. So it's not for everyone. It's for people who kind of have a maverick orientation and want to be inventive. What we've learned, in each country is that there's a great storytelling tradition. And in Korea in particular, we've made a big investment with new offices and many new staff and, partnerships like with Studio Dragon to continue to develop new titles and to share them around the world. In the pandemic, of course, Korea has had an incredible and world-leading response to managing the pandemic. And mostly, we've been able to keep our productions going, producing new content. Of course, just in the last 2 weeks, we've been a little more cautious, to make sure that, the COVID stays low. But generally, Korea for us has been fantastic because we've been able to keep our productions. It is true that subscription has been steadily increasing, and we've been fortunate to focus just on subscription, no advertising at all on Netflix, and that's continued to help us grow. And that's one example of the things that have come from our culture. So our culture allows us to debate and think about those aspects of should we be in subscription or other things. And the culture has really contributed to that subscription success, which we think will continue to grow. Let's see. If I think about the big picture, people spend about 7 times more time on YouTube than on Netflix. It tends to be a younger audience, but YouTube is an amazing company. That doesn't mean that we should do user-generated. I don't think we should do user-generated, but they're very effective at internet video. Then there's HBO Max and Disney Plus, and Disney Plus has been astounding to go from 0 to over 60 million members, in less than 1 year. It took us 12 years to get to 60 million, so it's really incredible. So in some sense, they're a threat. But in another sense, they have a great show, Mandalorian. We have a great show, Kingdom, and people will subscribe to both. We're both fairly inexpensive and have great content. So there's room for lots of companies to succeed. And our best future is if we focus on our members rather than our competitors and trying to figure out what to program for them, which is why we're making such a big investment in original Korean content. Well, that's an easy question to answer for the young entrepreneur. You know, that is to read this book.
I was going to say, except that.
We'll share them all the answers to how to build a strong culture, which will help them, you know, with competition, with moats, with cash. It's easy sometimes to look at Netflix history and say, okay, they beat Blockbuster. You know, when we went public, we were 50 million US in revenue. Blockbuster was 5 billion, so 100 times larger than us. So you can say, well, you know, we beat Netflix, we beat Blockbuster because of this move and that move. And then we figured out global streaming because of this or that and original content. But really, it all stems from the culture, from a culture where we try to inspire employees rather than supervise them, where we try to attract the best talent. So what you can do for your entrepreneur friends is really have them reflect on the fundamentals, which is what kind of place would you want to work? What kind of place would be stimulating, and how do you create that kind of place?